Hello, hello, hello. It's Mary Ziola Vega from Thriving Athletes. Tonight, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. It's going to be about social media for athletes. The reason why we're going to talk about that, it can be used for athletes and students. The reason why we're going to talk about it is I recently had someone have an issue. They are an athlete. They got a great offer to play in college, and they did something stupid and put it on social media. And the coach saw it. And the school saw it because they mentioned the school they were going to, and they mentioned a few other things about the school or about the scholarship, etc. Well, guess what? Someone ended up losing that scholarship, and they ended up not being able to go to that school because they said something stupid. So please remember, it's so important that you can't say things on social media once you start committed to a school. Once you're committed to a school, you're like their spokesperson. You're like, let's say we're going to use University of Illinois. Let's say you're going to University of Illinois and you start posting racial things, political things, all these types of things on social media that are inappropriate, but you are now an athlete at University of Illinois. They are paying you to be representing them. Well, you kind of got to go by their rules. It's kind of like if you work somewhere, you got to really go by their rules because after all, they're paying you. They're paying you to play, right? They're paying you. They're giving you money to represent their school in their sport, in their gym or field or track or whatever it might be. So with that being said, you have to remember when you start posting things, it's no longer just about you. It's about the whole background of who you're posting about and representing. So as soon as you write on the dotted line or verbally commit, you have to make sure you are now supporting them and following them to people you are talking about. Now, one thing I'm going to talk about you right now is I saw some really cool articles online, so I'm going to go ahead and show you those really quick. This one here is 4 things to keep in mind about social media. I think are really some good points on this one. This one is actually, it's called athletesbusiness.com. It's a blog, and I go on and read all these things. But this one's a really good thing. It's a tool, not a toy. Oh my gosh, is that huge, okay? Yeah, don't go on there and post stuff that's so inappropriate that you use it as a toy. It's a tool. It's a tool for you to represent yourself and your school that you're playing for. Nothing is truly private ever. Ever. Just like this video and any other video that's out there, it's out there. It is not private. 1 view, 2 views, 100,000 views. It's out there. So please make sure you remember that when you put it out there. Okay, if you retweet or share it, you own it. Well, what does that mean? Okay, let's say I say, this paper is so stupid, it's yellow, it's stupid, and my friend's telling me that this is a stupid yellow piece of paper. It makes no sense. It's so stupid. And I think it's really funny because the guy's holding the yellow paper and who knows, maybe he wrote a little duck on it or something. And I go ahead and share that or retweet it. Guess what? It's yours because you took the onus to go ahead and do that. Same thing on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. When you share those things, you are saying, hey, I like it that much. I took time to share it. So if you're doing that, think about that because you got to remember, I know it sounds crazy and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I can't even do whatever. You know what? You have to remember that if someone is paying you $40,000 a year to go play at their sport, you got to respect it. And you got to be aware of what you're putting out there. Personal branding. Every tweet reflects you. Why do you think it's so important that these big athletes are personally branded? Is because of the fact that they want to make sure that everyone knows who they are. So let's say you're a great track runner and you all of a sudden want to be labeled as the quickest woman on the south side of Chicago. Okay. And you're going to be branded as that. That's so cool to do that. Go ahead and do it. Why not? Have some fun. But you have to brand it in the right way. Because if you're just, one way to remember that is if you are someone that just wants to be seen or whatever, you can go ahead and go under the radar. But if you want to brand yourself so you can go a little bit step further and be known well, it's called branding, okay? One of the things I wanted you also go through here, which I thought was pretty cool, what you should post. Okay. You should post things like, let's say you're playing for University of Illinois again, and you guys win, and your alumni gave you this great dinner, or fed you guys pasta before your game, before you get up there on the court. Okay, those are things you want to say thank you about because you're showing the support of the school. Another thing too is to support others. Um, Share news and in humor, engage in discussion for those that you admire, and post anything consistent with your personal brand. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. And I will share this article on my Facebook page just so you guys can go ahead and read through every little point. But this blog is really good and there's some great information on there. So I really want you to take a look at it. So you make sure that you know what's being said and what you should kind of follow. Another one I came up with, Malcolm Lemons. You guys probably all know him. He's a big basketball player. Here, hang on. I had his information here. I wanted you to see. Here you go. He has a blog that he writes too. 3 things that athletes should never do or post on social media. 1, no racist or sexist jokes. You know what, guys, gals, everyone else, whoever, moms, dads, everything you post on social media is being followed. So even a silly little joke can be taken the wrong way. So when they are paying you to play or you are representing a school, you must be respectful of that. If you aren't, this is the easiest way to get you kicked off the team. Swear or say anything misconstrued. A lot of us say stupid words all the time. Okay, we swear all the time. Well, I don't, but I mean, other people may. Okay, it's almost common. Almost everyone does it, right? But it's still looked down upon and you're still representing the school. So make sure that's something you don't do. And the other thing here I thought was pretty cool was post personal content that you won't want people talking about later. So never post, okay, let's say you, excuse me, you thought this yellow paper was the stupidest thing in the world and you kept telling everyone, oh my gosh, this is so stupid, this yellow paper is so stupid. And you kept talking about it, how silly it was. It's yellow. It's the color of the duck, and blah blah blah. But you kept talking about it, and people started then talking about it. So down the road now, you're known as the athlete that complained about the yellow piece of paper, because that's how strong social media is. It meets so many people out there that one little post can go 1,000 times over. If you mention, let's say you're playing at the University of Illinois again, playing at the University of Illinois, and you mention that in your tweet or on your Facebook page, the algorithms, what they actually do is pick up those words and repeat it on other people's feed. Like on Facebook, they'll repeat it on the people's feed that might have put in University of Illinois. So you have to be really careful because guess what? Everyone is watching. Everyone is watching. Doesn't make a difference. They are all watching. Okay. The other thing I thought was really, really funny. I'll watch a few minutes of that. This right here, these are tweets. Are we ready for this? That coaches are reading. Kind of funny. These are real coaches. These are actual coaches reading their athletes' tweets. I love this. So anyhow, there is so really funny. These are actual college coaches reading these tweets of their athletes, and they're like, "What the heck is this?" A lot of some of these, when you go, again, I'll share this page too. When you look at this, it's so funny because some of the coaches are like, "Wait a minute, you're speaking like this," or they're like, "What did you just say?" So it's really funny because it kind of goes through different things that coaches are looking at. So just make sure you really know that these coaches are really looking at your tweets. And they actually have the kid's name on there, which I think is pretty bold, but they do. Okay, so let's talk about one more thing here. One more thing is, I'm going to pull it up real quick. Social media for athletes. And this is done by the Washington Post. And I think the most important thing right here is it says right here that the school is allowed to monitor your page. They're allowed to because, again, you are part of their group, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then I also found that there's a lot of different policies at different schools about social media. So just so you know, when you start going to a school, probably the very first thing you want to even ask is, what's your social media policy? Because they're saying in this school here, I don't know what the name of the school is. I can't find it at a very point in time, but they actually have a social media class. They teach all 600 athletes before they get themselves going. Okay, before they even get themselves going as athletes. Can you imagine sitting down in a group, a whole big gym, football players sitting there saying, okay, you can tweet this, you can't tweet this. You can snap this, you can't snap this. You can't say this on Facebook, you can't do this. Oh my gosh. But you know what? They're paying you to play. So there's really not much you can do because as long as they continue to pay you to play, you are kind of stuck. Okay. And I mean, really, is that the worst thing in the world is that you can't, you know, be crazy for 4 years of your life. And then when you're done with college, you can do whatever you want. But it's so important to know that when they are paying you, you really can't be crazy. Now, here's a whole side note. Parents, you're being watched too. Okay. So let's say you are a parent and your student is committing or looking at like 4 or 5 schools and you're bragging all over the place. Oh my gosh, my kid got an offer from, I don't know, University of Illinois, University of Iowa, Nebraska, etc. All right. You're out there and you're telling people, oh my gosh, they got an offer. I'm so excited about it. Okay. Don't you think those college coaches are watching you too? Okay. First thing they're going to say is, wait a minute here. The athlete didn't tell us about that offer. We didn't know we were up against all these people. Who's playing who? Okay. Remember, it is not public knowledge for you to put out there about all the offers your son or daughter is getting. That is information they're offering to you. Okay. Because if your son or daughter doesn't offer that offer, so let's say your son or daughter has 7 offers. Okay. 7 offers. He can only go to one school. He can only go to one. Okay. So you have 7 offers. He picks one. You have 6 schools that are pretty upset that he didn't go to them. So if you want to stay on the good side of some of these schools, because what if your son transfers? What if your daughter transfers? So here's 6 schools that are like them or her, and yet you might be able to pick from them if they transfer. So don't cut off your nose to spite your face, as my mom would say, because you, by advertising of all these different offers, you're showing that you're not being true, that you're not being real. So let's say University of Illinois offers me to go play with them, and I tell them, oh, so does Nebraska. As a mom, I put that on my site. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud. My kid got this offer, this offer, this offer. Okay? You're putting that out there. That's great. But think about it on reverse about how the school feels. The school took the time to write you a letter, call you, get to know you, give you a personal offer. And all you're saying is, all it is a piece of social media. I really don't care because I got 5 more, so I really don't care. Respect those offers because they don't take them lightly. They take time to assess your athlete and decide whether or not they want to offer. You respect that back to them because otherwise, you know what? You have tons of issues. Now, I know I really didn't get a chance to ask a lot of questions. Sorry about that, but please feel free to ask some questions below. I'll answer what I can. But remember that social media, you must remember you're representing the school that you've committed to or that you're playing for. And parents, remember that you can't live through your kids' eyes by posting everything because they're watching you too. Respect the coach, the school, that gave the offer, and don't play it out there like, hey, here's a wild card, here's a wild card, here's another jack, here's a queen. Boy, look at all these offers I got. That's not what it's about. It's about finding the right fit athletically and academically. And it doesn't matter if you have one offer or 10 offers. It doesn't make a difference. It's the best fit. So again, I went on. This is so dear to me. I think it's so important that you guys know you have to let your child and respect the institution that's choosing your child when these offers are coming through. It's about finding the right fit. It's not about finding who's the most popular of the schools, the best school, or whatever. It's about the best fit. Who cares what the school is as long as you're the best fit for your kid? So parents, calm down on posting everything. You're only hurting your kid. Simple as that. If you have any questions, post it below, right down here. This is on my YouTube channel too. Please subscribe. That's over, I think, over here. Please subscribe, and sure would like the opportunity to talk to you more about all this. So feel free to ask some questions. Tomorrow night, not sure what we're going to talk about. The reason why we talked about social media today, because a question came up. So tomorrow night, we'll probably talk more about how to find the right fit athletically and academically. Unless something like this comes up today, like it did today, then we'll talk about this. Okay? Anyhow, great talking to all of you. I'm Mary Ziola Vega with Thriving Athletes. Hope to hear from you guys soon. Any questions? Go ahead and comment below. Okay? Have a great night. Good evening.